you can't balance it all. I say, why not? There is a quote given by Priyanka Chopra. She said that I can be a mother and the CEO both. So we all have to have that grill into us. If we think like this, everything will happen.
We all get them, those feelings of doubt, fear, lack of self-confidence, lack of self-belief whenever if we want to achieve something in life. No matter how much we want it, there will always be times when you hit a challenging period. Your motivation hits a wall and you feel like giving up. You have heard it, giving up is not an option, but when it comes to how not to give up, it could be difficult sometimes. In this podcast, you will learn how tough times make even the most motivated person consider giving up, and this is completely normal. Hello and welcome to the Honest Talk by Freak Folks. I'm Harsh Pandey. For this particular session, we have with us very special guest today, Miss Payel Saha, ma'am. She is highly competent, value-driven, and seasoned management professional with over 13 years of insightful experience, extended expertise in majorly in sales and distribution, marketing, communication, internal communication, retail management, branding, promotional and media management, business communication, demonstrated ability to manage multiple priorities and developing solutions in a rapidly changing environment. She is a motivational speaker across forums and a wellness advocate also. So first of all, ma'am, I welcome you to in this session. Thank you so much for joining and actually agreeing to share your thoughts with us.
Hi Harsh, thank you so much for having me in your fantastic show. And firstly, before I speak to you, I want to congratulate you that a young champ like you, basically inspiration for many other people who is hearing you and looking at. So my best wishes, and yes, I will try. It's being said for me whenever I go in my introduction that I'm a motivational speaker. But let me correct it. I'm not a speaker. I'm just a storyteller. I never prepare any of my talks. I just say whatever experiences I had, and that actually connects me to young people like you, to the audiences. And my motto is like, if hearing me, if one person I can help, my job is done in this world. I take it like that. Thanks, Harsh, for having me here once again.
Indeed, ma'am, it's a pleasure too. So moving to the topic of today's session, or before actually moving to the topic of the today's session, I want to correct myself. Today we have a very great or awesome storyteller with us. So it's a kind of a pleasure for us also. So moving to the topic of today's session, which we have chosen is giving up should not be an option. Actually, we have this amazing fantasy about life. This is how things should have worked. This is my plan. It should go as per my plan. If that doesn't happen, we give up. My very first request to you is to please explain to our viewers why giving up should never be an option. It is okay to be scared. It is okay to cry. Everything is okay, but giving up should not be an option.
Okay. So actually, life is what happens to us when we are basically, planning something else, and that's what life is all about. I always say it, wherever I go, that what is our expectation from life? Why we feel demotivated? Life never came to us tell us that, okay, Payal, I'm going to behave with you in such and such way. Okay, Harsh, I will be with you in this and that way. So life never told us any of such things. It's you and me who has created that expectation out of life. And why we feel demotivated, the basic reason is when that particular thing doesn't work according to the way we thought it to happen, we feel demotivated.
Right.
And that's how actually it is, right? So we have to understand one basic thing. I always say to my, to all my students, and wherever I go, wherever I get a chance to interact with the people that I meet in my life throughout my journey, through various speaking sessions, so that life doesn't actually commit us anything. It's us, like, who creates that so-called a parameter from life. So there is nothing to be demotivated in life. And secondly, if we are unable to run, so let's walk. If we cannot walk, let's crawl. But giving up cannot be an option. As I said in my
Right.
first starting, that I'm not a motivational speaker, I am a storyteller. So when I started my journey, when I was nearly 22 years old, and I had worked into hardcore sales, hardcore general trade, and a business to consumer sales vertical. Presently, I'm working for B2B. I know that's a bit of like mature way. Now the matter is like, if I would have given up, I would not have worked into 11 states out of 29 states in the country. So I proudly say that I heard it into many forums that, you can't balance it all. I say, why
Right.
not? There is a quote given by Priyanka Chopra. She said that I can be a mother and the CEO both. So we all have to have that grill into us. If we think like this, everything will happen. Now again a very beautiful example. No, if we are going into some shopping mall, if we want to find out a blue shirt, we will see a blue shirt. If you are
Yes.
running on the, if you're walking on the road and you want to spot a black car, you will see a black car. Now if we are if whatever we are doing in our life, we want to see and perceive something good, we will find that goodness, find that opportunity. So demotivation, I don't think so. There are certain times when I'm also human being, I also feel like, the people ask me, don't you feel like giving up? So my answer is yes. The temptation for me is giving up, and maybe for all of us, are huge at one point of time.
Right.
But generally, when I went back and see where I had started 13 years back, so that motivates me to keep on, to keep going. And the basic problem with us, why we feel demotivated, we start comparing ourselves with others, maybe our parents or
Exactly.
maybe ourselves. That why I am not better than this, why she is, she is scoring higher than me, and why she got a 6 rating and I got 4 rating when it comes to corporate world.
Right.
So one thing, that you are, who is your competition? I am my competition. I have to be best, and that's how we will keep on growing. I will quote Shushmita Sen once asked that, you are a very normal and an ordinary girl, what made you win this Miss Universe? She replied, that night what was in my mind, that I'm a very average girl and I have to be better than the others. So that's how it is. So never feel demotivated. Motivation. And one more thing, I can speak for hours, I can motivate you, I can motivate many people, but end of the day, when this session will be over, what will happen to us? So something has to come from with us.
Right.
All YouTube videos, all sessions, all are fantastic to watch, but end of the day, that ignite, that fire ignition has to be from us, not from any other source.
Exactly, ma'am. I think you have defined this very beautifully, and I'm sure the people those who are watching this session, they are actually going to impact them as well. And my next question to you is, actually, this is a very serious topic. We have seen most parents of high schoolers in the India and other countries know all too well the pressure children place on themselves to get the highest GPA, JEE, NEETs, or SAT or board score they possibly can. And I see nothing inherently wrong with children striving for excellence and wanting to win in this increasingly competitive world. Everyone has a plan after achieving the success. But if one fail by mistake, then how you need to deal with failure? No one talks about that. Even our education system, even our parents. So, ma'am, actually, I want to ask you: do you support the idea of celebrating failure as two in case of success? And do you think in today's world, parents and teachers need to understand that it's okay to fail and stop comparing and putting societal pressure on the child?
This is a very fantastic question. This is like, I would love to address. My request to all the parents, if they are listening to me right now, that stop comparing your kid with others. Your kid is unique. And we have to understand and embrace the uniqueness of every kid. For example, we have to understand what my kid basically and want. But I'll take my example only. My mother, she always wanted me, to clear UPSC, and then to be, to work as a bureaucrat for government of the country, which is like any other
Yes.
parents. So I always made it very clear that what you want, I embrace that, fine. But if something, what is my X factor? So as a
Right.
parent, we have to understand the X factor of certain children. If we are not able, generally what happens, like it's very common. We start, if my sibling is scoring more than me, my mother will come back and say, how come she scores more than you? If suppose a never child is better than, why she is scoring this, why you are not? So all this comparison comes. Now I differ here into the, ranking system we have in our, we have in our forte. Okay, she is number one, she is number two, so the mental pressure, the mental pressure starts building into a kid. I have seen Harsh and a kid like going to first standard or second standard, third standard. They are so competitive. They are so competitive.
Exactly.
And nowadays we are not accustomed to using personal laptops and all. But nowadays kids are having, and online classes are going.
Right.
So kids are having, all amenities probably we never utilized in during that point of time. So, and that brings the much more competitiveness. So I am not saying being ambitious is bad. No, being to ask children to study is bad. No, it is not. But having having my own children who is unique in his own way, as a parent we should understand the X factor, and we should not push them, we should not force them. Suppose if I am good into coming into corporate, probably my parents should support me not moving to UPSC. My mother also didn't want me. She always wanted, okay, write your UPSC once, twice. Then I made it very clear, no, this and that and happen. And things are like that. So we have to more than kids, we as a parents, we need to mature ourselves, groom ourselves. But sometimes I feel if there should be some classroom training session for the parents also, including me, so that we understand the mental psyche of our children and how to groom and how to handle them. Because I tell you, when I was a kid, my mother used to compare me. I used to feel so bad. I used to come back to my room and I used to cry. It happened with me, and it will happen with everyone. So probably I want my children should not get should not feel like that. So that's how it
Right.
is.
No, actually, I think you have explained very beautifully, and taking your personal example, I'm sure people can actually connect with them. And my next question to you is actually, there's one more question, and it's actually ironic. What do you want to be when you grow up? Is the question that we are constantly asked as a kid and are expected to have an answer for. How in the world is a kid is supposed to know what he or she truly wants to become when they haven't even stressed the surface of life itself? It's ironic, isn't it?
This is again, if, and I don't know, I mean, what made you to ask me this question, but these all are unique questions. Actually, problem is that from our childhood we need to write an essay or a
Uh,
paragraph, your aim in life.
exactly.
I hope this is uniform into every schools, and
Correct.
irrespective whichever school it is, and or whichever state you are studying, right? So your aim in life, so aim in life is good. But then then the story starts. You come back, then your mother asks, your parents ask, like, what you want to be, you have to be this, you have to be that. So I feel, let the kid write, let the kid feel. Don't put that pressure, that you have to be this only. But generally it happens, if we see our mother and father as an actor, we expect our children to be an actor. If
Exactly.
we see our mother and father is working into some government organization, we want our children. My mother and father, I mean my entire family, they never worked into corporate, so they are all like working with the government sectors. They wanted me to be into that system. So it happened with everyone. So having aim in life is not bad. I mean, but pressurizing someone that you have to be this, then I'll take a very common example. We feel that when I was a kid, also happened that you after 10th, you will be considered as a top class student if you are going for science, and if you're going
Mhm.
for arts, people will think no. So that is again a societal pressure coming into the kid. I
Exactly.
want to say no, it is not that. We have all subjects are beautiful if we study, and we can see our top most talented students, and who are not only from science stream, who are
Yes.
from arts, who are from
Right.
commerce, from different, from ecostat combinations. So this myth has to get broken somewhere, because the parents, they basically feel that, okay, if my daughter particularly not doing this, so somewhere that is a tag. So this is a pressure not only into the, we have to understand, this is a psyche working not only with the kid, but a pressure equally with the parents. So because the parents are undergoing pressure, the pressure is getting bifurcated, or it's getting just passing on to the kid. So I am not saying everywhere it is the scenario, but wherever it is, we need to. And so you see, while growing up, then people comes under so much pressure. There are cases of suicides also. We see often. I know. So this type of things, mental health, we are not talking. We
Yes.
are so much physical health, we are not talking. We are only talking of bookish knowledge. So
Right.
firstly, as a human, we need to teach our kids, or we have to understand that our children should be mentally and physically healthy to absorb some things in the later stage of his or her life. So so we I think that's a small correction as a parents, including me. I feel we have to get into it and look into things like this.
Exactly, ma'am. I think you have mentioned some of the very concrete reasons, and we need to work. But we have seen some kind of a positive change. We have seen in this Corona, people started talking about mental health, and now things are getting. So this is a very welcome change. And my next question to you is actually, we have seen society has molded us into such a narrow, one-dimensional way of thinking. People, because we were raised to believe that the only way to prosperity was to choose a career path and work our ladder up that lid actually. So, don't you think we are encouraged to chase money and job titles, but never pushed to evaluate and consider what we want our actual lifestyle to look like?
Yeah, so I would love to answer this question. This is a very thing I believe. In our schools or colleges, we are being taught of history, geography, civics, life science, physical science, right? But somewhere we didn't teach our children, the most important subjects of life, which are what? Managing emotions, managing intelligence, and how to appropriately channelize your emotions. So all these things basically are a root cause of that. Now our body, which is the most important part in our whole life, it is our body. If now what happens that due to this pressure forming children or someone, maybe of a youth or maybe of a middle-aged person, like the pressure is so much that they have a tendency to give up. Now
Yes.
my sole request that from childhood itself we have to make a curriculum how to channelize your emotions, how to how to channelize your vibes, what to feel for the person. For example, let's take an, I say I'm a storyteller. Let's say that we are going to the market, we are buying fruit from some vendor, some fruit vendor, and by default, and he has given us some rotten fruits. Now once we come back to our home, the way we will think, why he has given us like that, and we'll get angry. So the vibes we are passing to the other person is all negative. Now these are all about vibrations, so these are all
Yes.
about vibrations we are creating about ourselves. So we have to understand that how to cure ourselves, or how to take care of our mental health. I always say into every of my forums that physical health and mental health nowadays, yes, as you rightly said, in corona people started getting aware, they started going to gym, they started drinking nimbu pani, and they started drinking orange juice. So my question is this: why we need to wait till corona to happen to us to
Uh,
start all these things?
exactly.
Why
Valid point.
you need? I heard many people saying no, my immunity is working. So I have to tell it through your forum that immunity cannot form overnight. It's a
True.
continuous process. It's a continuous process, and immunity is supported by your mental health also. Suppose if you are not mentally fit and you are not sleeping, then you will suffer, then your physical health will get defer. So everything is related. We have to start as a society how to start, including all these things about balancing of emotion, channelizing of vibes, how to groom ourselves in a much more healthier way to our children. Then these questions we are discussing probably in this forum will not come.
Exactly. And my next question to you is actually, this is a very important question. We have seen as that India is the world highest suicide rates among youth. According to ASSOCHAM survey, 72% of students in India don't know how to handle pressure, as you have mentioned. Suicide so common among school and college students. So, what do you think? What are the major and concrete possible reasons behind it?
Okay. Now, this is a very sensitive question for me also to answer. We have to understand when suicide is happening. A person who is killing himself or herself is so much strong, or so much stubborn at that point of time, that he or she can take that brutal step to kill herself. Right? The person we love the most is we ourselves, for any one of us. But when we can take such a dangerous step or brutal step that we can say, okay, fine, I will kill myself. This is something, your emotions, again I'm saying here, this is again your emotions are, you are not controlling your emotions. You are just giving the key out to something else. That means also we are, our body is like a car, right? So the steering should be in our hands. But the problem is we are not here. My mind is driving me, and I'm not driving the mind. So there is a quote I was reading somewhere, that don't get disturbed by external factors. And that's how you can channelize your emotions. Now how to learn it? Because as a person we are, or as an individual, we all are different. We have a tendency to have a reactive nature, and not of a responsive nature. So these things, I have seen, I'm just reading somewhere, just 10 days 15 days back, one young girl from some television industry in Mumbai just committed suicide. There's a cases like we can read everywhere. So my request to the entire person, individuals, or entire boys and girls who are hearing us out, that the most precious thing you can have is your life. Forget about your career. I always say, someone say, some many people congratulate me. Okay, so such a beautiful job you are having. All these things, and you are having this title with you. So I always say, whatever I do, this is a fancy thing. My title is a fancy thing. Suppose I'm a CEO of any organization, for example, I'm not. So this is a fancy title. If suppose tomorrow I'm giving up my job, pile is back to zero. The pile will become zero. The pile will become pile only, right? So all these things, I should say, all these are actually coincidental to happen in life. Yes, we need everything in life, but in a balancing way. I should know to put my well-being first, and then rest of the things. मतलब बिना नौकरी के तो हर कोई रह लेगा. It's not way. And for feeding myself, probably I don't need a fancy job. So I can, even if I go and serve in some temple, I can get a 2-time food. But again, the intention of me is saying that I'm not saying everyone should do it, but what my intention is to say that there is no use of earning lakhs of money and then spending it under pressure. We are seeing many people, many individuals who are having packages in crores. They are earning money like anything, but half of them, I always say, there is no use of earning lakhs of packages and spending half in the hospital. So treating your ICU bed, or I am not. And you will not believe, Harsh, there are lots of the approaches, and there are many young people who didn't say it to the public, but they the rate of the people or the youngsters visiting a psychologist is very higher. Now
Yes.
people don't want to say it because they feel that if I go and say, people will think I'm a mad. So let me tell you, no, it is not that. Mental health, awareness of mental health is actually very much required. Like that, agar is we are getting hurt, we go to a doctor and we put band-aid or some medicine. So like that only. So we have to normalize these things in
Right.
our society, and so that this suicidal things will not help. And my request, like, if you know someone is suffering from something, sometimes people don't want any advice, people just want ears to listen. So we should develop that ears within us to listen to the other people. Then only all these things like suicides, or someone not feeling well and going into depression, these things will not happen.
Exactly. I think you have discussed actually some of the very genuine points, and you have actually mentioned the point that we need to channelize our energy. We have to use in a more productive way. So this is a very good point. And Mama, I can say there's a lot more to learn from you, but today I don't want to take too much of your time. So moving to my last question of the session, and this is an equally important question actually. Youth is a time of enormous energy. We all know a lot of youth is in confused state of mind. The today's youth, actually the youth of today's generation need clarity and balance. They have become the victim of social media information overload. Everywhere there's a compulsion. They are addicted to smoking, alcohol, drugs, and gruesome video materials. There's been substance abuse like never before. So my question to you is, what are the small efforts we can practice to bring an awareness among the youth, just to remind them of their enormous energies, how to balance them and lead their life well?
What a fantastic question to conclude with. I would love to answer it.
So
Firstly, we have to understand the importance of being healthy. And that's until and unless, I always say that I'm a wellness advocate also. So when I say I'm a wellness advocate, we have to understand. I'm a storyteller. So I will say here one story. One day it happened that when I was working into, in Khandwa. Khandwa is one of the remote part of Madhya Pradesh. Those who belong to MP, they know. So I used to do a very, I was in sales. So I was every day I was in market. When it happened with me, when I came at night, something I felt is hitting me back on my head, and it was happening with me time and again. So one fine day, I asked my driver, okay, I want to go and see a doctor. He said, okay, fine. Then I went and I see a doctor. Then what happened? My blood pressure, it came out, to be 110 and 180. So the doctor kept on checking it 3 times. Why it happened? Because it was around like when I was in my late 20s. Why it is happening? Are you under so much pressure? Then he gave me some other things also to get diagnosed, and I was, and with due God's grace, I was found to be high cholesterol, Then I was not diabetic, but then the doctor said, okay, let's go and find out, your insulin level. So I was insulin resistance, and I was type 2 diabetic, and put together I was having a fatty liver also. So 8 medicines I was taking. So then the doctor, they called me and they explained me that, they didn't tell me that if we will do workout and diet, what will happen. No, if we'll absorb a healthy lifestyle, what will happen. They didn't tell me that. They told me what will happen if I'll not do. And they told me very clearly. I was weighing 99 kilos at that point of time, and today I am 69. So they told me very clearly that if you will not do, then you are not going to live, because you are going to get a heart attack. Then I felt so bad. A girl of 28 years old, and she is like, she is hearing all this thing. Then I started working into myself a very healthy lifestyle. So it happened. What happened? Why I'm saying, because that happened with me when I was in market, and I feel bad, or someone like, that's called an emotional eating also. What you will do, you will go open the fridge and you eat the sweets, right? So actually you have to understand this Cadbury of this everyone can relate, whoever is listening to me. This Cadbury of this sweet, this is not going to treat our emotions in a better way. Suppose if I fought with my boyfriend or my husband, having two rasgullas will only do. I'm not against rasgulla. You can have it at times, but this will only add on some more sugar, some more diabetic problem in my life, some more lifestyle diseases. So youth has a tendency that it happens. It's called an emotional drinking habit. They will go and they will start drinking, right? And then we are prone to smoking also. Now, if I say, if you're coming to this world, do everything. You have to do everything, but that doesn't mean doing everything means living your life through alcohols or through cigarettes, right?
Exactly.
There are other ways also. So I always say your body is a gift. It is a temple, and it is up to us how we treat it. So better going for this, because when you are drinking alcohol, what happens? You are under effect of it. The very next day you got the headache. That's what it happened. We all did it, right? And we all know. Now we are smoking, the nicotine effect will release us our, something in our brains, and we'll feel good. But these are all temporary solutions. These will not yield us anything. If we want to come out, again, channelizing of emotions, we have to understand. If I had undergone a breakup and I'm doing I'm taking an example of a breakup because generally youths connect them so fast. Okay, then we have to, we have undergone a breakup and we started all this. Now we have to ask ourselves, shall not I get someone better than him or her? If the answer is yes, I will get, then why you are doing all these things? Then you have to. And one more thing, if you are good, you will attract good. So whatever we want in life, we have to be that way only. Suppose if someone looks for a very very fit, if someone wants her husband to be very fit, then she has to be what you are. If I cannot get attracted to something which I am not. I take life in that way. So my request to entire you through this channel, that Harsh, that he approached me and has given me again a chance to place my views. My request to the entire youth listening me, please, yes, you are here to do everything, but then it doesn't mean that we will maximize our habits, like which will kill us only in wrong time. So it will not come over a time, because hearing me, it's a motivational speech. Hearing me, everyone will feel okay, fine, and then tomorrow again something happen, again you will go that and do that. So don't do it. Please start recognizing your health, your importance, your beauty. We all want to look as beautiful as Shilpa Shetty, right, when we are 47 years old, or as fit as Milan Suman when you are 50 plus. And that doesn't come easy. Nothing in life comes easy. We have to pay for it. Thanks, Harsh. I think I have taken much of a time, more than 3 minutes in
that's
explaining.
completely okay. I think you have very beautifully explained, and I'm sure the people, those who are watching this session, they are also going to find us meaningful. And again, thank you so much, ma'am, for joining. And actually, that's very kind of you. You have told you have actually taken my invitation positively, and you have came and described everything and discussed all those things in very length and discussed some of your personal life experience. So I'm sure the people, those who are watching, they are also going to find us insightful. And thank you so much, ma'am. We will look forward to conduct more such session with you in future. And thank you.
Thank you, Harsh. Thanks for having me
Thank you,
here.
ma'am.
Thank you so
Bye.
much. Nice talking to you. Thank you.
Same here, ma'am.
Bye.
On the ground is where I stand. Never give up, that was always the plan. It's so cold outside, I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside, I'm alone.